Alright, so you may have noticed that in my last two vids, I've been talking about events that happened a long time ago. So 2 videos ago, I was talking about the Devious Licks challenge that was trending around September of last year. And in my last video, I talked about the infamous Will Smith slap that took place over a month ago at the Oscars. Now, there are a few reasons why I didn't talk about those events while they were happening. The first, and probably the biggest reason, is because most of the videos I make usually have to do with my own mental well-being. Like I've said numerous times, making these videos helps me to assess my own mental state, as well as confront some of my bad habits and self-destructive behavior. And so that's primarily been the focus of these videos over the past year. Now again, that's the biggest reason, which means that if I had been able to talk about these things while they were happening, I probably would have. But the other reason I didn't comment publicly on these situations while they were happening is because I do think it's important to wait and get as much information as you can about what's happening before giving your public opinion. Or at the very least, if you are going to give a public opinion while something is happening, I think it's important to acknowledge that you are giving your opinion based off of the information that you now have, and that new information could entirely change your perspective and the conclusions that you've drawn about the situation. Now, I say that, and that probably sounds like common sense. It probably doesn't sound like a groundbreaking new perspective that nobody is really living by. And that's good. It shouldn't. This is something that I know a lot of people do, maybe even the majority of people. But I don't say this to present new information. I'm just saying this to highlight the importance of this. And I also have to acknowledge that even though I hold this principle, I'm not always capable of living up to it. There have been plenty of times where I've been caught giving my opinion on something before I got all the information, only to have the new information come out and completely disprove everything that I was saying before. But just because I'm not always able to live up to this principle doesn't mean that I'm not convinced that this is the right thing to do. I just need to get better at actually doing it. But again, I'm just trying to say that I think it's really important to try to wait for all the information to come out before formulating your opinion on a situation. And if you are going to give your opinion publicly while something is happening, then at the very least acknowledge that your opinion is subject to change if new information is presented. And again, I know that that sounds like common sense and something that most of us, if not all of us, already do, but I just think that there are too many examples of us not doing that. I mean, do you remember this video that went viral last year?
Hey bro, what's that?
What's what?
That you just threw in here.
What word?
I got you on camera, bro.
I got you on camera. We're all good.
Hey bro, you just threw that in here.
Yeah.
Basically, it's this video of a cop seemingly planting evidence during a routine traffic stop. And I remember when I saw this video, I was heated. I remember thinking to myself, man, thank goodness this guy has a cell phone that he can record videos on. You know, if he wasn't filming this guy could be in jail right now. This is just more evidence that there are some cops out there who will abuse the system. And just all these thoughts and conclusions I was drawing based off of this 15-second clip. And so after I saw the video, I went into the comments just to see what everybody was saying. And basically everybody was parroting those same thoughts. There are a lot of comments saying, you know, this is why people don't like or trust the police. People calling for those cops to be locked up, and just comment after comment about how frightening this is and how this is a blatant abuse of power and how these cops need to face the consequences, etc. So that story happened, and obviously with the 24-hour news cycle, that was basically it. Something happens, it goes viral, there's a bunch of outrage until the next story comes, and then you repeat the cycle. Fortunately, I was watching the Philip DeFranco show a couple days later, and it turns out that there's a pretty significant update on this story.
Hey bro, you just threw that in here.
Yeah, because it was in his pocket and I don't want to hold on to it. That's on their body cam that they took it off of him, so.
You just threw that in here, bro. I got you on camera, man.
I'm telling you where it came from, so.
I got you on camera, bro.
It's an empty baggie at the moment too, so.
So apparently the outrage prompted an investigation by the police department, and when they looked at the body cam footage, they found that the cop had actually taken that little piece of plastic out of the pockets of one of the passengers that they were searching, and he was just throwing it back into the car because he didn't want to hold on to it. And that the people that were pulled over were actually just pulled over because they were speeding, and that after this incident nobody was actually arrested. And I remember at that time just feeling so thankful that I had never actually made any public comments about the situation, because I know I would have been one of those people calling for these guys to be arrested. And if I had done that, I'd be looking very silly right now, finding out there was actually no foul play here. But that doesn't mean that I hadn't already drawn my own conclusions based off of that 15-second clip. In that situation, I did not live up to my own principle. I'm just lucky that I didn't make a public statement about it. But that doesn't change the fact that I still failed there. And going back through some of these comments, fortunately there are a few people that went back and edited their original comments. But a lot of them didn't and just left their original comments comments up, those comments that were based off of this misinformation. But I think Philip DeFranco does a much better job of explaining why something like this happening is actually so dangerous.
Because, I mean, this is a story that matters for several reasons. One, it highlights one of the biggest issues with misinformation is that there is no way to get ahead of it. The initial video and accusations getting tens of millions of views compared to kind of the trickle and light views that the full story got.
Because it's the initial video that goes viral and that gets spread to everybody. But again, with the 24-hour news cycle, you see the video, you get angry, and then you move on to the next thing. And so now you have a situation where when the correction comes out and the actual truth of the situation is presented, there are much fewer eyes on the story. And so not everybody gets the corrected version. And most people just go on thinking that the original story, which again is false, is the true story. And by that point, the damage is done. People have already decided for themselves what happened, and they'll carry that misinformation with them into the next viral news story. And the cycle just continues. And so yeah, that's why I think it's very important that if you're going to speak publicly about something, you either acknowledge that new information can change your opinion as you're speaking about it, or you withhold that opinion and that conclusion until all the information is out. And to make this more relevant, this is exactly what we're seeing with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case. I mean, 6 years ago when Amber Heard first made those allegations of physical abuse against Johnny Depp, we all just took that information and accepted it. And as a result, Johnny Depp's career suffered while Amber Heard went on to become one of the faces of the Me Too movement. And for years, Johnny Depp just had to suffer this reputation as an abuser while Amber Heard's career flourished. But as we're now seeing with the court case, the picture that Amber Heard was painting is not accurate at all. Again, I don't know these people or their personal lives, but the dynamic that she was presenting, that Johnny was the abuser and she was the victim, does not hold up. It may actually be the complete opposite, with Amber Heard as the abuser and Johnny Depp as the victim. Now, if I want to hold to my own principle, I have to acknowledge that there is more information coming out every day about this case, and so I don't want to present any conclusions about it. New information could come out tomorrow that would flip this whole thing on its head. I don't know. But as of right now, the evidence suggests that at the very least, the representation of this relationship that we all got 6 years ago is not accurate. And at least at several points, Amber Heard has lied about her relationship with Johnny Depp. But again, I think it's important to withhold any type of conclusion or final opinion until all of this information has come out. And so yeah, ultimately, I think it's just better for everybody to live according to this principle, or at least to try their best to, because the repercussions of this are very real. Johnny Depp's career and relationship with his family were decimated because of these allegations. And if it wasn't for updated information and the body cam footage, those cops would have lost their jobs even though they didn't do anything wrong. And so I just think it's safer for everybody to abide by the principle of waiting for as much information as possible before drawing conclusions, or at least acknowledging that your opinions and your conclusions regarding a current event could be wrong subject to new information coming out in every context, whether you're making a YouTube video or whether you're commenting on Twitter or Reddit, because it's not just your reputation at stake. Those comments often have real life repercussions for the people that we're talking about. And again, I just have to reiterate that I don't say this as someone who is always capable of doing this. A lot of times I let my emotions get the best of me and jump to conclusions before I have all the information. But just because I'm not always able to do it doesn't mean that it's not the right thing to do. And so it's just about trying to be more aware of when I do it. And so hopefully by being more aware of the problem, I'll hopefully eventually stop making this mistake. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this one. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you indulging me. I'm really enjoying not having to make videos about my deteriorating mental state all the time. And so I'm going to try to keep making videos about things outside of myself. But as I do that, I think it's very important to always acknowledge that whatever I'm talking about, I could just be completely off base and wrong about it, and that I may be wrong even about the things that I just talked about in this video. Again, I don't think I am, which is why I made this, but if it turns out new information comes and proves that, yeah, what I said was wrong, then I have the responsibility of making another video addressing where I was wrong in this one. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In any case, thank you again for watching, and with that said, I wish you all the very best going forward. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.